Buckle up and get ready for a roller coaster ride of some tasteless humor, lots of heart, and radical truth with two scrappy chicks. Because adulting is hard, but we are thinking that laughing about it is just so much easier.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, hi.
More more upbeat show.
More what?
Upbeat.
Okay. Oh, microphone. Mic check. Test one, two.
Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, so what do you want to start with?
Um, I did want to touch base really quick with the solo and sovereign, a new era of women choosing singleness.
Okay.
It's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about that you and I have talked about already, and that even you thought they were pretty interesting, just because I think it really focuses on more of a human behavioral aspect, because this applies to humans, men, women, children, friendships, employers, coworkers, whatever. It's just human behavior. The first one I wanted to recommend to people to go check out is the behavior panel. Love them all. Chase, Greg, Mark, and Scott. Gonna love them. Especially Chase. He's got his own um, books and training and all kinds of really interesting information, especially because he also talks about, when it comes to human behavior, the things that can kind of get you caught up or tripped up in the media, right? You can how to tell when you're having your chain yanked. And Laura Richards, and I know I mentioned her before, crime analyst. You can find her on YouTube. And I thought we shared her link, did we not? The last time on her actual website.
I'm not sure, but I will again.
Okay. And because she wrote a book, and that is geared more towards women in how to recognize what's happening in a relationship and or how to identify certain behaviors so you can avoid certain relationships, which is I think is very helpful because I think we just don't know that we don't know. And I think I mentioned before, and Ginger, you and I have talked about this too, is that I have chosen to remain single for now. And I want to encourage anybody to, whatever stage you're at in your singleness, that you're choosing it for yourself. I just think, and this goes for men too, I think it's good and healthy to be single for a minute. Work on yourself, work on whatever issues you have. We all have issues, nothing to be ashamed about, so that you can better be able to understand your wants, your needs, and what's driving you, your motivations, and or what triggers you. And also, again, you have to have a clear head and come from a healthy space for you to be able to, when you meet people, to be able to see green flags, to be able to see red flags. What do you think, Ginger?
Oh yeah. I mean, most definitely. And it's funny, all this like stuff you talk about, we didn't really like think about that back then because we were younger
No.
and we thought more with our emotions, you
Yeah.
know, than
Well, and our parents, nobody taught us or told us about how to be in a relationship, what to look for in a relationship, things that are good, things that are not good. No one talked to me about any of that. Did anybody talk to you about stuff like that from your family? Like your mom, your dad, your siblings? I don't know, anybody?
well, when I got with the donor, my mom was saying run and I should have listened to her. And I don't know how this started in high school. You guys told me to run for Hyman's sake. I don't know if it was because I was the last of the bunch who was pure.
I don't know. I just think we just thought everything was funny at that point in our
Hmm.
lives. Everything was funny.
Right? Silly girls, we
I know.
were.
Well, I still kind of feel that way. You do too. On a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like if you ain't laughing, you ain't living. And there is a lot of really heavy stuff going on. And I say you, I really mean I want to focus on more happy, upbeat things. And yeah, we're talking about some serious and heavy topics. On the same token, we all have to be able to create that space, make a lighter space with our friendships, especially. And I think you and I do really well with that. We have that for each other. Like, no matter what's going on,
Hmm.
no matter how serious or how we're venting, we always find a way to turn it around and laugh.
Yeah. And we will never be, I mean, we may talk about pop culture, this or that, but we will never be a news and political podcast. If you want that, one of the good podcasts that I listen to, Amy and TJ, iHeart Podcast, and they do the news and they do crimes and they also do, they keep you up to date on like if there's a big court case going on. And there was one
Oh,
going
yeah.
on that they started to cover, and then that court case got paused. And I'm trying to think, I can't remember the guy's name, but I think he was being charged with killing four of his family members. And that got paused because that might end up being, oh God, a mistrial. So I
Oh,
am
okay.
not sure. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty evident, what side they're on, but they're not jerks about it. So, that's why I like to listen to them. In fact, they were talking about one you and I were talking about that's kind of close to home, was the Ohio murder of the dentist, and his wife, the Tepes, and they had little, um, little evidence,
Two
but
babies at home.
yeah.
Yeah, well, they had two babies at home, but yeah, they didn't have a lot of evidence.
But with cameras, people having cameras, it really helped because they kept showing a guy. And when they showed him, supposedly this happened between 2 and 5 in the morning, and it looked kind of bright out, unless that was the camera's light. And if so, that's pretty good. So
Well,
they were
you know what I
showing
thought that could
him.
have been too? You know how like in the alleyways they have lights, like street lights. Maybe
That's
that's what it
true.
was. Or a garage light was on, like that
Yeah,
lights the outside of the garage. Yeah. But I know what you're saying. I know the exact video you're talking about.
yeah. But with that, and somehow linking a car that was parked nearby to him, and they found him in Rockford, and you had said he's got a condo on like Lakeshore Drive or something.
Yeah, that's what and I started watching this Ashley Banfield, which I recommend her too. She's really good. And she talks about court cases and crimes and everything. And she's just starting to touch on this. And I was watching that today when you and I talked earlier.
Yeah,
And I was just getting into it. And they were talking about this beautiful life that this guy was creating for himself. He became a surgeon, I guess. So he's in the medical
yeah,
field.
yeah,
And this is where you and I were like, and I said this too. It's like, what happens to people that they can't let go? Or they can't walk away from a toxic situation. Because from what it sounds like, they were married, then separated very shortly after their marriage, within 7 months. Remained married for about a year or so
uh-huh,
before the divorce was filed for. Okay.
okay.
And but then when they were divorced, it happened really quick, like within a month. And then there was a mutual restraining order.
Oh,
Yeah. So that tells me shenanigans are going on by both people, which is why I will never say all men or all women, because it's never all.
yeah,
And I have a question to everybody listening. Is there really a point for you to just say, I'm just in it and I just cannot let go of this? Or see, for me, Ginger, you and I talked about this too. I have a very low threshold for BS. I am out before anybody knows I'm out. You know what I mean? It's like, boop, I'm out. There's my red flag. That's all I need. I'm hitting the bricks. And yet there are other people who shall remain nameless, wink, wink, that once they're in it, it's very hard for them to let go and walk away, even though, like this situation where you have to have a restraining order. See, now that tells me there's something a lot more serious happening here. This is not just a matter of different opinions, or you know what I mean? Like there must have been something going on. I don't know. What do you think? Have you heard anything?
I wasn't aware of the restraining orders. Were they both
It,
still active?
well, that's it. Like I said, I just started watching this today. So from what I understand, it was a standing restraining order. So I think that's like into perpetuity, like no end. So standing. And if they were divorced in 2017, I don't know when she married her other husband, but I know their kids were real little, like maybe two and under two, or they're babies. They're very little.
Yeah.
So this is like a very short period of time. So I'm curious why this guy would, is it the Facebook thing? Is it him seeing her having such a happy life without him? Did that like, and I'm not excusing people, I'm just looking for what drives a person to not be able to let go and walk away and just be like, right, Ginger, let them,
Yeah.
let me. And I have a strong feeling it wasn't a reason or there wasn't a reasoning in his mind to just be able to let them. And so that he could then let himself move on. He's, but again, I don't know. I'm just finding out. So to be continued on that, but we're going to have to keep an eye on this because he's in jail right now.
Yeah. They're gonna
Going to plead.
extradite him to
Yeah,
Ohio.
yeah, and they're going to plead. He's going to do his pleading thing or whatever tomorrow. So to be continued.
Yeah, should be interesting. So I don't know. Like I think when they were married, the short time they were married, he was doing his schooling or residency, and like you said, it might have been jealousy because she was now with a dentist and they had a cute house and kids and that, and maybe I don't know, something snapped in him that was supposed to be him and her
Yeah,
having that. I don't know.
yeah, that could be. Well, and there's another little tidbit, and I just thought of that because you were talking about the finances.
Mm-hmm.
In the divorce, she asked that the engagement ring and the wedding ring not be listed as marital property, but individual property. And she had two words to say to that, what her response was or what her reason was. And it said, I paid. So in her first marriage, she paid for her engagement ring and her own wedding ring.
Oh wow. That's
So,
interesting.
and it could have been like, hey, you could have hit on something there, Ginger. It could be pride, feeling hurt. Maybe he feels sad that he wasn't able to provide that. Either way, none of this explains or excuses the path to doing that to anybody. This is where I want people to understand and start maybe looking at what people say, what people do, because these things are coming. And I do believe there are signs, there are patterns. And if we can all just educate ourselves, I don't care who it is. And I think the hardest part for us is to accept what's happening. And even if we can accept it, sometimes we can't get the authorities to accept it. This is happening. This person's doing this person's doing that. And oftentimes, because I was in this situation with my DV, I called many times. And it was always they believed him because I was the one that was hysterical and he was calm, cool, and collected. Or if I tried to call and be like, he's doing this, he's doing that. Well, he hasn't done anything yet. Okay, well, that's not very helpful. But what's interesting about this is that they had the standing restraining orders. And then you asked a very good question, Ginger. What was the question you asked? How did
Why
he get in
was
the house?
Yeah, yeah.
How did he get in the house? Did he break in? And I thought, and you'll have to correct me if you find out something different, that there wasn't like a ring camera on the front of the house, or there wasn't cameras in the house. I don't know what order that's in because I do was like you just said, he was caught on the cameras on the outside, looks like the alley. But what about the front of the house, the side of the house, inside the house?
Yeah.
An alarm system. And I just don't think they took this guy seriously or they didn't feel he was a threat. And clearly he was. So what was missed?
Because he was in another state.
So that false sense of security. I'm sorry, not sorry. There was something that was missed. Just like we talked about the dog thing, when people kind of excuse things when dogs do certain behaviors and like, no, it's fine, no, it's fine, they'll justify it. And we do that with our relationships. And then we look back and we go, yeah, the writing was on the wall the entire time. I just refused to see it.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
You ain't wrong.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so. We're going to have to find out. We're going to have to see.
Yes. Um, okay, so that's one podcast. Oh, you'll laugh at the other one because you know how much I love him. We're talking about him today. I love literally with Rob Lowe because he has had on some interesting people uh interviewing him. And he had uh a number to call, which I haven't heard him say it lately. It was called the lowdown line, where you could call and like leave a voicemail and ask a question. So I hope he brings that back because I want to call. And supposedly they are, well, hello, Dexter. Supposedly they're working on a sequel to, I gotta think, St. Elmo's Fire.
Wow. 30 years later.
I know. Isn't that crazy to think about that?
It is. It is. I mean, I have to giggle when people say that about any kind of movie that was made in the 80s or even in the 90s at this point. It's like, why now? Where was the sequel when you should have struck when the iron was hot?
I know. Well, they just finished filming. Now I gotta think of the movie. It's a real big movie. Mel Brooks, I think it's Mel Brooks that's in it. Is it Spaceballs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just finished that sequel. And is that going back to the 90s?
I, I don't know. I thought, yeah, I haven't, I don't know. I think I want to say that was the knife, but that could have been late 80s because that was with Rick Moranis.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and he came out of retirement to do that.
Yeah. Do you see what you're saying? He had to come out of retirement to do the sequel. It's like, it just makes me laugh. Like, what are you guys waiting for? Seriously.
Yeah. Um, let's see what else. Oh, and let's see the other podcast. I know I wrote it down. Oh, because I like my reality stuff. He started out doing bachelor stuff and he's really big on Survivor and I've watched Survivor but not in like a long time. Like maybe when the first one with that Richard Hatch,
Right.
but it's Reality Steve podcast and I joined his Patreon because it's cheap. It's $5 and he does some cool things on there once a week and he rotates every week. So this week we did Saved by the Bell where Kelly and Zach break up. So he's playing the episode and then, making comments on it and then we have a chat to make comments. That was fun seeing that. So cheesy how things were. Uh he's done a Beverly Hills 90210. Donna Martin graduates. That was this week. And then Saved by the Bell was 2 weeks ago, but I just watched it because if you he does it live, and if you can't catch it live, you can go watch it later.
Okay.
Now, he was supposed to do Grease 2 last week or the week before, and he it wasn't uploaded, so he ended up doing Pretty in Pink, and I missed it. So I'm gonna go maybe try to watch that tonight. And then this week he's going to do Grease too.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
fun that he does that. He does his podcast every day, Monday through Friday, about 20 minutes. He has another podcast that's sports related, but I don't really listen to that. And then every Thursday he has like a hour-long podcast and he interviews people. And I started following, people from him interviewing them that I never heard of. So yeah, and I like that he doesn't cover any um news, and he'll say, "Hey, I know things are heavy, but this is just not the place where, I'm not going to change, what I do." He'll acknowledge stuff's going on, but he's not going to change his podcast for that, where somebody else has. He was totally pop culture, and now I start listening to it, and it's just too political and it's too heavy, and he used to say, "Oh, I'll put it at the end of the podcast," and now it seems like he starts it and it's throughout, and I'm really struggling to keep on listening, and I don't want to I I'll be fair and not call him out, but it's getting really hard to listen to him.
Yeah, because sometimes you just don't want to hear any more about it because and I purposely try to stay out of the fray. I don't follow mainstream, what they call legacy media. I do have a handful of alternates that I'll recommend, like you're doing here, that I will listen to. And on the same token, everybody needs to have their own discernment, which is another reason why I'm going to do another prop for Chase Hughes, is that he helps you to understand what's happening out there and why, and how easily people are being manipulated. And that includes me too. Ginger, how many conversations have we had where, like, when we look back now on people and situations, and we can see them now completely differently, and we're like, wow, I did not see that before. And I couldn't have understood it at that time either. And honestly, I don't think I'd have believed it. You know what I mean? I'd have been like, you're crazy. And then as we get to this age, we'll call it a certain age, you've been around the block a few times, and you just start to realize that there's just a lot of BS out there. And it's just very beneficial with all the information that's out there for people to take control of what they're consuming. And that includes what you're looking at and what you're listening to, and being able to discern human behavior. That's why I love the behavior panel. I've been watching them for like 4 years now, and they never disappoint. It's so fascinating. Like you and I were talking, remember when they had the Amanda Knox thing out?
Yes, yes, the series.
Yes. And I
And
told you, I'm like, I can't watch it. Um, I have my opinion on that. I won't say anything about it now. Because I think it's important too, that for people to go and get the information, and don't depend on me. Don't take my word for it. Go look, check it out. Let your own discernment rule in your life, and your intuition. And we've talked about that too. I think we should do a segment on intuition, how important that is. And because everyone's got an angle, and there's always going to be that someone wants something from you, and you're going to have to figure out if you want to do it or not, if you want to be a part of that relationship, or you want to be doing or involved with certain things. Could be professional, could be personal, could be charity, could be anything. You got to really use your discernment with a lot of things. And
yes.
I think being able to look at someone, and we're like, people will say, "Oh, well, they touched their nose, so they're lying," or they winked, or they shrugged their shoulder. But it's really never going to be one thing, but it's going to be several things or patterns, and people talking. Like, okay, let's talk about Karen Reed just for a hot minute.
Oh, good, because I was
They
going to
this
mention because her movie was on.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did finish that. Nicole and I watched that today, and when people are innocent, they will say things like how she was saying, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? And this is a couple of years ago. And again, I saw this on Behavior Panel. So when you look up Behavior Panel, look up Karen Reed because they'll go through her behavior as well. And as soon as I heard her say that, I was like, oh, she's innocent. She didn't do it. Guilty people don't do that. And then to make it even better is, Chase Hughes made a very good point too, is that guilty people will distance themselves. They will use distancing language to put space between themselves and that person that was harmed in the situation, if you know what I mean. So when Jen McCabe makes that phone call to 911, she says, there's a guy in the snow. A guy? I thought this was your friend. Ginger, would you say, God forbid, you ever saw any of your friends in the snow? You'd be like, oh, there's a woman in the snow. You'd be like, no, get out here. My friend is in the snow. She's unconscious. You would not say a woman or some woman, right?
Right.
Who uses that wording? People who are distancing themselves, not trying to associate themselves. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say on that point, without getting, too crazy into that whole sphere, because I could talk about that forever.
Yes. And the movie about Karen Reed, it is on Lifetime. And I thought it was
Yeah, and they
good. The
really should have
casting,
done that. You like the casting?
well, yeah, the casting was good. Except it seemed a little too rush, and maybe two
Yes.
hours for a movie wasn't enough, and it should have been a series.
Yes, I agree. That's what I was going to say. It should really have been a mini series because they didn't get into either trial really at all. And they didn't really get into any of the evidence on either side.
Yeah.
They really brushed over it very lightly, and I don't think they did the story any justice, in my opinion. And the guy that played Alan, I'm like, oh, Alan, I'm sorry. It's
Well, they
just
only showed two lawyers, and it's like, where's
right,
Alessi?
right. And
So,
King David, they made David not look that great either. I'm like, come on.
yeah. So,
Yeah, because can you tell we're a little invested?
yeah,
Just a
yeah.
little, just a little.
Um, I'm trying to think, was it back in, what's her name? Nicole, why can't I
Brown
think?
Simpson?
No, the other one.
Which other one? Which
Why can't
case?
I think of her name? Or am I saying the wrong name? The one that married the rich guy and he died, and then
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. God, what is her name? Her name is Nicole. And she also was dating that guy Danny, and they had a little girl together. And she also had a son from a first marriage.
yeah, and
The
then
hell is her name?
Howard Stern, the lawyer.
Yes. Yes. Correct. Oh, that was a bad situation for her. I really felt sorry for her then and now.
And her daughter is now being raised by the dad, Larry Burkhead.
Yes. Yeah, he was a pretty nice guy, actually. Anna Nicole Smith.
There you go.
That's why. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was Danny Lynn was the daughter. So yeah, and he
Yes.
turned out he turned out to be not such a bad guy. Yeah,
And
so I'm
wasn't
sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, wasn't there this is going back 20 something years, right? Wasn't there a trial after she died?
Yeah, but I didn't follow any of that at the
Oh,
time.
okay. Well, I did. So, um,
Oh,
did
and
you
we need to wish a belated birthday.
okay, go ahead.
Happy birthday, Lyle. hopefully next year you'll be spending your birthday at home or the year after. Sooner the
Yes,
better.
happy belated birthday, Lyle. Jess.
Yes.
So, did you mention all what you wanted to? Yeah, Chase, the his group,
Behavior panel. Yeah,
behavior
Chase
panel, and then
Hughes by himself. He's got his own I think it's called NCI. And Laura Richards, she's phenomenal.
yes,
I just discovered her. And so yeah, that's it for right now.
yes.
And yeah,
So
and I'll be doing like Ginger does. I'll be doing my own little solodolos, which will delve more into, the single and sovereign for the people that are interested in that.
yes, I'll put links up for what you like, what I like. Um, what are we watching? Well, as you can see, I did a bonus episode and had watched Stranger Things. Did episodes or not episodes, seasons 1 and 2 with Ashley, and we're gonna record 3 and 4. That will probably be out Friday. I have not watched 5 yet. I kind of needed to catch up on my other stuff that I watch. But I'll probably resume to that. And Ashley was telling me to slow down because she's not finished 5 yet. And what else? Oh, our Chame Chame Chame. And we're probably like a broken record repeating ourselves, but it seems to be a occurring thing.
Yeah, it bears repeating. Go ahead.
Yes. This was Thursday. I'm just driving to Walmart in town, going to the right turn lane, and the person behind me just wasn't having it. We weren't going fast enough. And he gets over in the left lane to get in front of me and almost sideswipes me because he's in such a hurry. And I didn't honk my horn or give gestures or anything. I'm just like shaking my head. What is wrong with people? And then today I'm turning right at a light. Of course, I had to, wait for it to be clear. And then the car behind me turns right with me, right behind me, and is just riding me. And I was turning into the gas station, and they didn't like that. It's one lane each way, that they had to zoom over in the other lane um to go around me. And I was just like, what is your hurry? And I think I mentioned this before, how I was watching something where they were talking about people speeding and that, and how much time are you really saving doing that? And you're not.
Not, no.
And and he said, if you go under, he's not encouraging people to go way under the speed limit, but if you're at the speed limit or under, there's a lot of less accidents. And that's stressful. I know when you're late going somewhere, but what I've noticed is the odds are against you. You're gonna
They
hit
are.
every freaking red
Yep,
light
yep, yep.
and obstacle there is. And when you're not in a hurry, and I'm trying to think, when was this? Um, Maybe it was me going to my appointment. Um, I just kept hitting every green light. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And it's because I wasn't in a hurry.
You weren't stressed. And also too,
Yeah.
and I know we've talked about this, when people are upset, you're literally depriving your brain of oxygen because you are just so enraged or whatever, and your cognition goes way down. So you are not making good decisions when you are hitting the gas and swerving around people and getting all angry. I heard this saying, and I will say it, and I actually want to put it on a bumper sticker and a t-shirt. It is better to be late in this life than early for the next. And I mean that in all sincerity. Calm down.
Yes.
Nothing is worth you swerving, tailgating, risking your life or somebody else's or
Yes.
anything. Like, calm down. It doesn't really matter. And if you're, and you and I talked about this too. when you're getting delay after delay after delay, whether it's a car in front of you, 10 trucks ahead of you, or you can't get out of the house because there's always something happening. I forgot this, I forgot that. It means you need to slow down because there's something that you probably don't know about that's protecting you and preventing you from leaving. So just take a deep breath, divine timing. You'll get out the door when you get out the door. And if you're late and people aren't happy about it, too bad. But I would generally and genuinely say, I'm here. I might be late, but I'm here and I'm alive to tell you that I'm here.
Yes.
And nobody can argue with you on that.
Yes. And if for some reason, like me, who goes back and forth in the house before leaving because I forgot something, there's a reason why I'm
Right.
being delayed.
So take a
And
breath.
yes, the people who
Take a
drive
breath.
the people who drive erratic like that make it difficult for me, people like me who despise driving at all, and especially in the dark. So have some considerations for others.
Right. And riding people's tail is not going to motivate them to go any faster. And 9 times out of 10, it's the people ahead of us. We have no control over the situation either. So you getting mad at
Yes.
me, the car ahead of them, we aren't going fast enough for your liking, Mr. or Mrs. Karen, Mr. Bradley. Oh, calm down. It's honestly, it's going to be okay. You being there a minute or 2 minutes later, it really doesn't matter.
Yes. And before we wrap up, I wanted to mention expo. It's called Her Expo. It's for women. It's sponsored by one of my clients. It is in less than 2 weeks. It's the 23rd, which is a Friday from 5 to 9. This is the second year. I went last year, and it's like really like encouraging, women who want to like do their own business. And it also is a lot of women there who have their own business, and it's a lot of fun. Like I said, there's no fee, and there's speakers, and I think a fashion show. There was one last year, and some snacks and some like goodies to buy because there's some boutiques there selling their stuff. So yeah, and hopefully with the weather permitting, you get to join me because otherwise I will go myself, and that's
Yes,
fine.
weather permitting.
I did last year. So that's gonna wrap it up for this week.
Yeah, you sure did. You sure did.
So just, be safe. Don't drive like a maniac. Um, and be back with us next time.
Take care, everybody. Be safe. We love our scrappy peeps. So thank you all for joining us and becoming part of our flock. So please like, subscribe, and share. And if you don't like us, unfortunately, yo mama. But if you do like us, we look forward to seeing you next time on Two Scrappy Chicks.